I go by JCD, John Capestro Dubets, born and raised here in California. Started up by Laguna Seca in Monterey, and that's kind of where I found racing with my father. Watched a lot of kart cars, Can-Am cars, all types of different prototypes racing there. Fell in love with racing, and that's kind of what brought me to here today. So now I do racing, and I coach it for other individuals. I also work with renting cars, brokering, managing, selling parts, pretty much anything that revolves around motorsport.
What is that behind you? Tell me a little bit about this car.
Oh, hey, thanks. Nice to meet you, bud.
Likewise.
BMW M2 CS Racing. This is a production-built race car, essentially, that you could buy just the way it is from BMW.
I see. So it's obviously not street legal.
Nope, but it was it essentially came down the line as an M2, and then they put a cage in it, and essentially it wasn't a street car, but same guts, so pretty close to a street car.
Is the car easy to drive for an amateur?
Oh yeah, the car is so easy for an amateur to drive. It really is just a safer street car with the roll cage, so it is pretty forgiving. It isn't something that's going to be extremely fast, and it's not something that's extremely slow. It's kind of right there in the middle. But I would say it's the perfect stepping stone for someone that's looking to race like a closed top car, someone that wants to do, you know, door-to-door GT touring car style racing.
What's the difference between this and the regular street car?
It has different calipers, it has different struts, it has some air jacks in it, it has a fuel cell, it does have a fire system. Other than that, I mean, the exhaust system, everything power-wise is pretty standard. It doesn't have like a big tune on it or anything crazy like that. Where this car makes its performance is definitely in the balance to performance, and it's more so meant for circuit racing.
So there's definitely weight reduction in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's still a heavy car in terms of race cars. A lot of race cars we see out at like our local club chapter, E46s, E36s, are in the mid 2s. This is definitely going to be in the mid 3s with driver. So heavy for a race car, but it's definitely a very functional car. The way that they've made this car function with the tire and producing grip, it's a very good car. I mean, it definitely produces good lap times.
Have you driven the street version before, and can you notice any difference?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you drive between a car that's gutted and a street car, you just typically hear a lot. There's a lot more vibration, so the overall raw feeling is just generically different, I would say. But in terms of handling, yes, you do see a little bit of difference in handling. We run very aggressive setups on these cars, so sometimes all the way up to 5.5, close to 6 degrees of camber. And we've even run, you know, toe in the front, which initially makes the car very darty. But in a later race situation, you end up having more tire under you because you didn't use up as much in the initial part of the race, which for a guy that brings closing speed, that's where you want your tire. You know, you want to have more tire at the end of the race. So we definitely do play with a lot of things, since these cars aren't necessarily crazy like a GT3 car where setup can be detrimental. Setup definitely matters in these cars and can be the difference between winning and losing, but it's more so found in alignment and small changes.
Tell me about the suspension on the car.
Yeah, so this car is on a Sachs coilover. It's a single adjustable. It's a pretty straightforward coilover, not too much going on there. Also, another component that we have that's a little bit different on this car is the front caliper is changed out to an Alcon 6-pot. A few other small details would be the air jacks, and then it also does run a 20-gallon fuel cell. Yeah, so it does have fire retardant. It's a 2-stage, and then it also runs AIM data. This car has Motec in it as additionally, and V-Box, and that's required by SRO. The Motec is, and then V-Box, we just have that on top for the coaching and the data telemetry overlays. V-Box works very well with our Motec data, and we can actually overlay it in the same i2 software, and so we can see it all at the same time without having to hop between two programs.
If I wanted to race this car and be tutored by you,
yeah,
how can I start?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the best way to get a hold of us is going to be through our Instagram probably, or an email. But getting a hold of me would be the first step, and then you kind of just give me your goals and where you're trying to go. and we'll start plugging in the consumables and get this car dialed in for you to race.
How did you get into racing?
Through Skip Barber, I started racing, and then eventually went back to Skip Barber and worked for them as a coach, which built up my coaching business, which allowed me to continue to race with helping others. And now primarily all I do is help others with one-on-one coaching, or you might find me at a school here and there, but you can pretty much find me any day of the week at a track.
So, are there any highlights to your racing career?
Oh man, lots of highlights I would say, but definitely the people that I've raced with along the way have always been the most important to me, and those have been the cherished memories, right? Racing's very much a team sport, so anytime you win, all the people that you win with, that's something that you get to share with them, and I think those are the fondest memories I have, is leaving the track with those people, knowing that we completed it together and we accomplished the goal.
What's your most memorable race win?
Oh, wow. I would say the most memorable one for me would be my first win at Watkins Glen, which would be at Skip Barber in a MX-5. Driving wise, there was a couple others that stand out. Winning a championship with my business partner Ryan Lindsley in an endurance series, that was very special. Did it on very limited funds, very limited resources, and we managed to come out on top, and it came down to the last race, so it was definitely the most exciting of our championship runs. But very, very happy to be at Auto Technic now, racing with them, and we had a win last year that was very special. So currently we have two guys that are racing at a professional level. One started with literally no experience, didn't even know how to heel toe, and just pulled off his first two pro wins. A very exciting story. Guy came back from a practice that he ended up wrecking, and in that wreck collected his teammate and had to mentally overcome it, and we were able to find another car in the same weekend, get the car there in time, prep it overnight. His teammate's car was repaired at the same time, and the guy that ended up instigating the wreck came back to win both races, also qualified on pole, led every race, every lap of the weekend, and huge triumph. I mean, overcoming that as a racer is very hard. Devastating financially, your ego takes a hit, and then to be involved with an incident with your teammates, just awkward. And man, both those guys handled it like professionals, and they dominated the weekend, and just being a part of that experience has been very, very special. And another shout out to Tom. He's my other client that's racing in the pros, and he's actually my teammate and co-driver in GT4. And that guy is one of the fastest guys I've ever driven with, and it does not let age or anything slow him down, no excuses. And he really makes me work for it every day I show up to work, so I really enjoy working with him. It's a challenge, it's always fun. And to see a guy have success is almost more exciting than your own success, because you can't do it for them, they got to do it. And when they achieve greatness, you get to see that little kid moment of excitement and just knowing that they achieved their goal. And those moments are definitely very special, and I'm very happy that we've had the opportunity to share a few of those this year. We look forward to doing a few more, and we're going to keep working, but definitely very proud of those guys and very thankful for those guys for sticking with me, and I can't wait to see what comes next with them.